What's up, YouTube? This is Propane here. This is gonna essentially be the section of my channel where I'm gonna pick cards in the meta or stuff that I like and just explain, well, what it does, I guess. The card in today's topic is going to be the Crimson Blader. This card was released in Cosmic Blazer as a rare. The Japanese have it as an ultra, because it's a Tag Force promo, and it's fucking expensive. But anyway, about the card. It's level 8. It's a Synchro monster. Yes, Synchro! We haven't seen these in the game for a long time. Well, except for the occasional rogue deck that actually still wants to play it. Mainly Dragoon it is, I think, the main one out there. Karakuri. Titan that plays that a lot, doesn't he? Then we also had Grand Soul Psychics as well. Six Samurai I think are still a thing at the moment. But anyway, continuing. Crimson Blade is a level 8 Synchro. Warrior type, despite the fact that it looks like a fucking cricket. Seriously, it reminds me of Kricketot from Pokemon, but with swords. But still, I actually do like the art on this card. Kind of wish it didn't come out as a rare, but we are in the time where Konami are promoting Exceeds over the Synchros, despite the fact that they said that we're getting new Synchro monsters next pack in Judgment, which are going to mark the return of the Synchros. I think this is bullshit, but let's see what they do. Anyway, Crimson Blader. One tuner, one or more non-tuners, standard. Very standard. 2-8 attack, 2-6 defense. Which is pretty impressive that there's stats are that high and that close to each other. I mean, Stardust, the original generic level 8, has 2-5 and 2k. And I'm not too sure about Scrap Dragon, what the hell his stats are. But I know it's 2-8 and probably 2 something, I don't know. And Thought Ruler Archfiend, for example, is 2-7 and 2-3. But yeah. And of course, when Crimson runs over one of your opponent's monsters, they cannot normal or special summon any level 5 or higher monster during their next turn. Which is actually a very, very good effect. If it wasn't for the fact that Konami were promoting the Ixies over the Synchros, I think this card would have seen a lot more play than what it did when it was released. But it's only really got used now that E-Dragons or Dragon Rulers have actually come out, because of the fact they can just go Baby Dragon, ditch it with something else from their hand, summon like Tempest Blast or Tidal, Redox, or Radox as it seems to get called at my locals. It's a shampoo, well, body wash, something like that. And then they can just summon their Veiler, so they probably want to keep that in hand anyway, but they've also got Flamvel Guard and Dragunti Korkeska, some of the OCG builds that are running. And that instantly is a level 7 and a level 1 tuner on board. And that means straight into Crimson. And then of course, what do the Dragons typically have on a field? They'd have something like Dragosack on field, possibly with 2 tokens. So they'll probably run over that token, because I can't run over Drago because it won't die. But then that means that there's the problem, the fact that Drago will just go pop the blade up. But if I'm correct, Blader puts a sort of, kind of like a condition on the fact that your opponent cannot, it's a lingering effect, a bit like Shockmaster. At least I think it is, but I'm not told otherwise yet. So essentially, even if they manage to destroy it, they still can't special summon anything. But alternatively, if your opponent's gone Big Eye and you Veilered it the turn before, then there's a dead Big Eye on board, and you can just run it over with Crimson. So that's 200 damage, and that's the next turn of Dragon Rules out. Crimson is pretty much a game-changing card. It's actually quite interesting how Evil Swarm, which their main monster, Ophion, which I might just flash to you now. Everyone knows what the fucking Ophion is. Has the effect of that it stops your either player from special summoning any level 5 or higher monsters while he's on board. Okay, yeah, you can book it, but they have their own arts. You can blaster it, but they run Dark Illusion and Forbidden Dress. And I wonder why the hell this deck does not do a lot. I mean, I saw in the OCG a guy maining every counter to Elidrags and still lost. Which is actually showing how good Dragon Wars are and how bullshit Evil Storm actually are. I mean, they got overhyped at the end, just before Tachyon came out, but Constellar were overhyped as well, long before. And Constellar would be good if it wasn't for the way the meta is right now. But anyway, I digress. Blader works a lot better than Ophium for the fact that it is lingering. They can book it and they still can't summon. It's a 2-8 wall. Unfortunately, it's not an EV target, or Eradicate's target, which I'm going to say, which Big Eye and Ophium are respectively in their respective decks. And of course that means that there's not really much of a counter against Prophecy. Well, off this one card anyway, for decks that aren't Dragons. Because things like Dragoonity can run it. You could run it in Hunders as well, because they go Mar Par and summon like Prism out, Violent Prism, Synchro, and then you have got a Crimson Blader on board that would have 3-8 attack during damage step, which is actually pretty good. And that's a bit of a pain in the arse. But then again, I have played against a Prophecy guy who got his Priestess up to like 5-8 attack, and it was just like, fuck. Because I was running Nomad at the time, Death Pro, probably should have made it Tidal, but I was playing Undy. Anyway, I will bring more of these sections to you guys. I think I'm going to cover things like Thought Ruler, which I did mention earlier, and like some other random crap that Konami probably should have made higher rarity to begin with, and why I just generally like them despite how crap they actually are. This has been Private Pain's video. I didn't say that. Anyway, as usual, suggest me to friends. Click like and subscribe if you haven't done already. And I'll see you again soon, guys.